And welcome to A Filthy Talk, a Filthy Lots weekly live panel discussion show coming to you live from North Vancouver on the traditional territories of the Squamish Nation. We'd like to recognize the privilege. We'd like to recognize the privilege to work, play, and create on these beautiful lands, and we encourage you at home to comment either in the chat on Twitch or underneath in the comments on YouTube with what traditional lands you're on. And if you don't know, look it up. I'm Trevor Gemma. This is Roz Young. And for the first time, as fact checker, we have our intern, our eternal intern, Capri Smith.
Hello.
So thank you for being here as fact checker.
Yeah, it's fun. Thanks for asking me.
Hey, no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, Capri's in the chat doing redemptions.
Yeah.
Doing all the word things.
So if you want to make us do some
words?
stuff. Oh yeah, speaking of which, today you will be able to, if you have 100,000 points, you could redeem for Roleplay Filthy Talk, which I don't think it's going to happen yet. You can, What's in the Box is active, so you can redeem, the price has been reduced, so for trivia, whoever answers first, whoever redeems it triggers a trivia question. Whoever answers first picks 1 through 5 numbered boxes and wins the corresponding prize underneath. There's also Maniacal Laugh, where you can pick one of the 4 panelists up here, and they will do their best maniacal laugh.
Oh.
And I have to apologize to Natasha because I forgot to run that past you earlier. And joining us on the stage we have Chris Livingston and Natasha Wehn. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Excited to be here.
And with that, we have a redemption from Born and Raised for you to do your best laugh.
All right.
Do you need a vocal exercise?
No. I'm wondering if I should go like sort of stereotypical, like wahaha.
I know the one
Yeah.
you do real well.
Yeah.
Do it. Do the one. Do
What feels right?
Your classic, the house special.
I'm gonna go. You know, like Halloween. The thing you hear in Halloween toys and shit. The like. There you go. Yeah. Hope that was worth the points.
They will be the judge, I'm sure.
So we will kick things off today with nerd news. You have things? I have a thing.
Do I?
Flick of the card.
I know. I want to start with the first some news from Gamescom. So, a couple game things coming out. There was an announced Saints Row reboot. So,
Sorry, what?
Saints Row reboot.
I thought you said rowboat.
They just
Saints Row.
released a new Saints Row.
February 25, 2022. There's a trailer on YouTube. Check it out. And also, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge, PC and Switch. Kind of like a Streets of Rage arcade style.
Oh, sweet.
game. They're gonna have April O'Neil as a playable character, and I think that's really exciting and really fun. And she does like a mic drop, so like, I'm here for it. Bring on the yellow jumpsuit.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. I thought your first thing
Was something
was a trailer.
Nope.
Okay, sorry. Alex, cue the trailer that I thought Roz was going to cue. Because they have released a new Matrix trailer for those who haven't seen it. Now, we're not playing this with sound, so we can talk over this. Have you guys seen, you know what's going on? That's NPH.
Yeah.
It looks like NPH
It's
in profile.
NPH.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
I don't know why this exists.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of with you
That's how
there.
I feel about it. I know a lot of people are excited. I know a lot of people are excited to see
You
a new
have
Matrix.
primarily questions about just like
I
timeline issues.
mean, I have a lot of questions on the timeline issues, but I mostly,
Oh my gosh!
I just don't know why it exists anyways. Like, more because I don't think the original trilogy was amazing. I think the first movie was amazing. And changed
That's it.
film and cinema.
Well-
I think the movies that followed were interesting. I know that Kedrock, if he were here, he would disagree with me, but he's not, so I'm going to keep going. I just think that I just don't understand why the blue pill, red pill. It really looks like they're just recreating the first movie again.
Maybe
Well,
it's like
I don't know.
a reboot.
I mean,
It's
called Resurrections.
Yeah.
But like, at first I got excited because the NPH character refers to him as Thomas.
You got
and I
Wish
was
Morpheus
like,
there.
oh, is he a different? Is he not Neo? Is he? And then I forgot what his actual name was because I know he's Mr. Anderson, but like. Looked it up. It's Thomas Anderson. So is he the same fucking person? Is he reinserted
be.
and reborn? Like, I'm very confused as to exactly what's going on with this.
I mean, aside from the fact that, I guess what makes me nervous is the only way I could see this working is basically the Matrix got reinstated and he's back inside and they're doing this all over again. But that's essentially, my problem with that is the whole idea of just redoing what you've already done again, maybe slightly different, is the same issue I had with the new Star Wars movies, where they just retold the original trilogy, but
If we can have
worse.
16 Spider-Mans, why not another?
Yeah, but it's
Neo?
not a full reboot because it's older Keanu and older Carrie-Anne Moss. So like, why have they
still
aged?
looks awesome.
Why are
She
they?
does.
But yes, but why are they like this age?
So cool.
Even if it's a resurrection, why? Why?
don't
Just because that's how old they are in real life?
I think visually it could be a stunning and fun movie.
Yeah, I mean,
I just
action
don't
looks
know
cool.
if it's a needed movie.
It looks
I
like.
mean,
But
that
then
you
I
could
guess I could
say
say
that
that
You
about.
could say that about
Yeah.
a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Natasha, have you seen all the Matrix movies?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seen 3 of them?
I'm pretty sure. It was a while ago. Yeah, it was a while
They're,
ago.
the first one's memorable.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how I
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yep. Remember
Yeah.
that part?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it's just like the graphics get worse for some reason.
I like
as the
that
movies
everybody
progressed,
knows like
the
one or
CG
two
got
things
worse.
and then that's it because we'll talk about this with Kedra. Never mind.
The thing that I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about, because I thought you were going to cover the whole
Nope.
miscommunication.
Hard pass.
So I don't know if anyone else knows about this, but this is kind of exciting, and this is some hardcore nerd newsy things.
I'm sorry, what?
Is at the Heritage auctions recently, within the last little bit. There is now a new big boy in town, and a 9.6 CGC copy of Amazing Fantasy 15 has taken the #1 most expensive comic
Yeah.
sold in the world at $3.6 million, beating out
Oh yeah, because the last Action Comics did it sold.
3.25.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
Yes, yeah, so inflation and
Current
whatnot.
value would be a lot
Yeah.
higher, but still.
But
How
yeah.
many pages is this?
How many pages?
How
It's a
many?
comic
How many
book.
money?
Several.
How many dollars per page?
How many
Many
page?
zeros?
Oh, you're
zeros
probably
per
talking
page.
a lot more than you want
Hundreds
per
of
page.
thousands,
All
probably.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fire hazard. you
Yeah,
know?
but as it stands,
But
for
not
actual
on its own, though. It's not
money
gonna go in and light
changing
places.
hands,
Yeah.
Spider-Man has ousted Superman.
That's interesting.
That's kind of badass.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That's
And
a
what's crazier about that is that there are 4 9.6s, is the highest
Yeah.
grade that CGC has registered, so it's the only one that people know is out there, but there are 4 of those at a 9.6. So whoever owns those other 3 are like, oh shit, this is worth 3.6 now? Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
damn.
Did you ever pay that much for a comic book?
Well, if I had that much money, no.
It's an investment.
Not a good one. Not a good
Oh,
one.
I disagree.
No,
I bought
totally
my
disagree.
truck on comic books.
All right.
There
okay.
you go.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is an investment.
Sure. I mean,
they
like,
just
good
go up.
as in maybe you'll make money off of it later. Good as in, could you put that money elsewhere?
Oh, yeah, no,
Yes,
definitely. You can
totally,
definitely
totally, yeah.
You know.
Better places to help humanity, all that kind of stuff, for sure. But it's cool.
Capri.
Ash, redeemed for maniacal laugh from
goodness.
Natasha, says, welcome back.
See, I've seen that smile. I've seen that smile a couple of times when things aren't going great, but she's like, everything's fine.
Yep. There you go.
That was great.
Amazing.
That's just a constant background noise when I talk. In the background of my head,
You're
that's
just
what
laughing
I hear.
like that? Damn.
Just
If I saw
constantly.
that, or if I heard that in a horror movie,
Yeah.
I would be very scared.
If I heard that just in life, like walking down the street at night, I'd be very scared.
Yeah.
That was good.
Like,
Yeah, cheers.
I also know that if I
Damn.
ever hear that laugh and she says, yeah, everything's going well today, just call the police. Just outright
Just
call
send
the
her
police,
home.
just in case.
Jamie, we need to send Natasha
Yeah.
home.
I have one more piece of nerd news.
Yes, before we get into the
Yeah,
meat
yeah,
of
before-
today.
Never mind. My nerd news, my final one, is something I want us to do together.
Okay.
It's fundatory.
Fundatory?
But, yeah, mandatory fun.
Sweet.
Fundatory. But Alex shared something on our a group Slack channel. And if you haven't already been in there, or you're watching from home, or whatever, or I don't know, wherever you are, you're on the bus, go to Reddit and go to r/anarchychess.
Is anyone on the bus right now? Did you just say, I don't know, you're on the bus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. If you're on the bus right now and then you're watching on YouTube after the fact,
I'm so
comment.
sorry you're
I
on
want
the
to
bus.
know. I just want to know. I'd be curious.
Yeah,
Who
okay.
watches this on the bus? Anyway, sorry.
What
continue.
bus route
I'm sorry,
are you
totally
on? Where are
interrupted
you going? Do you
People
have a bag
have
with
questions
you?
about the bus. Episode is now about bus travel.
Is
no,
this
it's
a
not.
bus
R/
worthy? You can listen
Is
on
this
Spotify.
bus?
If you're watching on YouTube, know that we are on Spotify.
No, we're talking about r/anarchychess. And the way that they're playing it is like no holds barred, whatever anybody wants.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, right? But it's basically the top comment on the Reddit post is what happens next in the game. So day 11, the last move, White sacrifices 3 pawns to summon a Supreme Leader piece, which is a packet of Chick-fil-A sauce.
That's what that is. Okay,
Yep.
I was curious.
Yep. So I thought together we could come up with something, and I'll submit it right now on Reddit.
Is that knife in gum stabbed into the table?
Does look like stabbed gum.
Okay.
Or it's like putty to keep the knife upright,
I
and they didn't
really
actually
gotta
stab
take a
the
look
board.
at-
One of the things that was posted that I don't see hasn't made a top comment yet to get in there, but someone was like, print a picture of Ron Weasley and put it on both knights, which I thought was really funny.
That's
That
pretty
is-
great.
But what we could do better. We have collective, creative
Yeah.
brain energy power.
Do we know where these people are?
I did not
Like
find
not specifically, but country.
know.
Are they in
Like
America?
their
Are they...
exact coordinates.
No,
That's
no.
what I
Like,
know.
are they country-wise? Are they in Canada? Are they in America? Are
They
they
have
in
Chick-fil-A
Ireland?
sauce. They have access to Chick-fil-A sauce.
Chick-fil-A.
So a red
they have
state.
Pop-Tarts that I can read as Pop-Tarts.
Yep, it's not
So
the Pop-Tart.
it's
So-
not.
Oh yeah.
Can we dig a hole, like a small square hole where one of the dark squares is, and it
Yep.
just
Ooh, a black hole piece.
yes,
Dig a hole
I like it.
beneath a dark square
yeah, and it just goes
to create a
all-
black hole. Okay?
Yes, please literal black hole.
Yeah.
Would be good.
Okay.
And then all
Brackets
of a sudden,
literally.
anything that lands
Yes.
on it, suck. Anything within, because it's a black hole, so any of the squares
Yeah.
touching it would be sucked into the black hole.
How are
Anything-
people describing the moves?
Well, some of them are using actual chess, which I can't do. But a lot of people are just writing funny stuff, which is great.
Like queen
I'd also like
takes
to-
knight 4 or whatever.
Point out that most of the items on that board are flammable.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
so someone posted White King and Black Queen meet in the middle of the board to make a mixed race pawn that can be used by each side that moves up and down and thereafter return to their places and then edited because the spelling was bad.
Can anyone tell me what the red thing is?
Looks like a Lego house.
I think.
It's Lego.
It's a
Oh,
or
maybe
Lego
a
hotel.
Monop-
It's a
it
hotel.
Looks like a
Hotel.
Monopoly house.
Not Lego.
Yeah.
Sorry, Monopoly. I meant Monopoly.
Okay,
My brain
okay, so
said
black hole. What else
Monopoly.
do we
My
want to
mouth
throw
said
in here
Lego.
before I hit enter on this comment? We are digging a hole beneath a dark square to create a black hole, literally, and anything within that space gets sucked in.
This is a good one for potential upvotes. I think
Yeah.
people will get
Black
behind
hole?
that.
Black
Yeah,
hole?
I'd
'cause
love
they
to
can't
see
do
this
it.
one get made. If it arrives on that picture next week, I will
That'd be amazing.
laugh hysterically.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll be amazed.
Yeah.
Get sucked in.
I also would like one entire side to be obliterated, but just replaced by a picture of the other side.
Also, one entire.
Mirror
This is a lot. I mean, maybe it'll still work. One entire side gets obliterated.
I was thinking just like
You
if
don't
it
have
was
to write
America,
that.
they probably have access to a gun.
Bye.
Just shoot the White King. Just shoot him.
Yeah.
Just end it.
One of the pawns
Okay, you know
walks
what?
across the field.
I think we
about-
got mixed
Shoots the
messages.
king.
We're gonna go black hole. We're gonna go black hole.
Go black hole. I'm behind black hole.
There's
it sounds
always the option
legit.
of a flash dance mob as well.
Hashtag team
Don't
black
worry, pull that one off
hole.
with pawn pieces.
Hashtag flash mob. Yeah,
Hashtag flash mob?
Hashtag
Yeah.
dance. Okay,
Hashtag
we're
flash
done.
mob. What happened to flash mobs? Do they still happen?
Commented.
COVID.
It'd
Does
be like
anything
a.
still happen?
Coronavirus.
That's why I haven't seen a flash mob, and I feel like I've seen a flash mob longer. Or it's been longer since I've
know?
seen a flash mob than just the pandemic. Okay, so today we are here to talk about villains. Delightful. Yeah, and and that is going. You're actually posting that on that Reddit thread, and you watching at home can upvote it if you want a black hole to be entered into Anarchy Chess. That's fun.
Amazing, right?
Interactive.
Love that it's
Yeah.
a thing.
But okay, villains.
Yes. Oh, yes. So, my first question to everyone to sort of kick this off is: has your opinion of what makes a good villain evolved over time? Like, did you have a sort of way more basic
Well, it started with Smurfs.
opinion?
And then,
Gargamel.
Wait, were the Smurfs the bad guys in your mind?
Wait, they're not the bad guys? No, I would say that yes, that has evolved over time
Yeah.
because of stuff like that. When you're a kid, I feel like your villain is a very clear villain, and as you grow up, you realize there's some gray in there, and then it changes.
Do you think that was just because of the media you were exposed to, or your understanding of life?
It's both, right?
Yeah, I would say it's both.
Yeah, I think they portray a little bit more complicated characters, I think, these days. It's kind of become a fad to have a bit more like tortured, protagonists and gray area on the villains. So
Yeah.
I think also kids are getting exposed to more complicated villains
yeah.
Okay, so
than we used to.
I was gonna say, is that the difference? Like when I was a kid, G.I. Joe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, anything I watched, there was you had your very clear villain character
Yep.
and your heroes, and then you grow up, and I would say even with cinema, you saw the same growth. So if I went back to even the 70s, your villains are a bit more clearly labeled versus what you see now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it had an evolution. I'd certainly say, and we're not just talking supervillains, we're talking just villains in all sort of media. But I know like supervillains are an easy example, especially because heroes in comic books typically don't just have a villain. They need like a whole rogues gallery where it's like the flavor of the week. It's like who's on the loose now, but because of that, they typically weren't very fleshed out. They were like they had like one driving force, one gimmick. There you go, punch, arrest, repeat.
Now, you said something interesting. You said that you could very easily pick out or label your villain. So, if you had to list a couple of key things that identify a villain, what would you say?
That's a good question. I mean, I think
Mustache, top hat.
Yeah. But certainly the way it was labeled per show would have been more about, or comic, or whatever, but it was always distinct that they had to have a plot, like they had a plot to overthrow, take,
I get you.
hurt, something to do with the main character. They were going to destroy their life for some reason, in some way. And like I said, like the Smurfs, he had to capture all the Smurfs because that was his thing.
I do not remember Gargamel's motivation.
I think he had to eat them. I can't remember, but
Really?
It clearly
I feel
stayed
like-
with you though.
Yeah.
It's really like informed a part of who
And
you
he was
are.
a human, right?
So you have a
He wasn't.
clear mission statement,
Yeah.
clear goals.
Clear goals.
Clear goals.
And they oppose your protagonist or
Yes.
hero.
Opposing
Yeah.
the person who we're first introduced to.
And then it was methodology, whatever they're going to do, but they always had a new method of trying to achieve the same ends.
But don't they need to be, because we were just talking about this coming onto the stage, but the difference between a villain and the antagonist. But like something about a villain, there is a sense of good versus evil, especially in our more simple versions of
Historically, I would say you're
storytelling,
right.
Like,
I would say modernly, you're probably wrong.
but evil according to the hero. And
Yes.
'cause
Well, and
villains
typically
don't think they're
society
villains,
norms.
right?
Yeah, like societal norms of like establishing moral code and like breaking the law. Like, because the majority of the time you're based in like a human reality and not like, once you get into off-world
You can have
alien
lawful
cultures, then have what? Waffle?
Lawful villains.
Oh, I thought you said waffle villains. I'm like, okay, we're in a food world.
That's
sure.
my next D&D character now.
He's just a waffle. Pockets for everyone.
Capri has a.
All the
has a
syrup.
point.
I'd just like to mention the chat is mostly just talking about buses. They'd like people to talk about buses.
Yeah.
And we do have a redemption for Ask Us Almost Anything.
Oh.
But what villain would be cool about taking the bus? Because the chat just really wants to talk about buses.
Wait, what is it? What villain?
Would be cool about taking the bus.
Oh.
There's been a lot of bus facts going on.
That's interesting.
Wile
What?
E. Coyote?
Like, who would take the bus? Like, on the bus?
No, he drove.
Well, that's right. I mean, Wile E. Coyote would do whatever he had to do. Taking a bus would be no issue
Yeah.
for him. But the thing is, it's funny because I feel like there's an air of superiority to a lot of villains as we know them classically. So
Yeah.
a bus would be beneath them.
And they often have themed vehicles. You know what I'm saying?
Not a lot of villain buses.
They put a lot of time into like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna
It's not
get
like the
this,
party bus is going
and then
down the
I want
street
it
to
to
rob a
just
bank.
scream me.
I think it's always a joke when a villain has to do something that feels like beneath them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the monarch on Venture Bros. I could see
Like,
him taking the bus.
if you saw a villain on the bus, it would be that moment of the villain sitting there. Like that would be the
Yeah.
gag moment of
Yeah.
them sitting there and just riding the bus because their vehicle got blown up or something.
I could certainly
feel
see
like
the Joker doing it.
Professor Umbridge would take the night bus probably to like save money or something like
Yeah.
that.
Very good
But
example
she'd
of a lawful
critique it.
villain.
She'd
Very-
probably try and get rid of
very
lawful
truthful.
villain. Yeah.
She would probably get mad at someone
Overly
for like
lawful villain.
chewing their gum
Yeah.
on the bus.
Chat
or
thinks
something like
Joker or Harley Quinn would take the bus.
Yeah, they'd totally take the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joker would
think
take the
po-
bus.
Because he
Poison
thought it was
Ivy?
funny, but then he'd kill everybody on it.
Yeah. Well, he would. I mean, I could just see him like getting on the bus, and then the next frame you'd see everyone else getting off the bus, and then the bus driver runs away. Then he's like sitting and waiting to go, and then like fuck, and then he has to
Well,
go and
yeah,
drive
and
the
you
bus
also
himself.
see him being like, $1.25? This is highway robbery.
They're asking for a conclusive answer.
Conclusive answer: Clayface.
All right.
Clayface, because he could just turn into normal people.
human and
He
ride
just
a bus?
look like a normal civilian and get on a bus.
Sure. He doesn't need
It's
to
a
ride a
great
bus.
way to. No, but who'd be cool about it? Clayface.
Honestly, I think you're looking at some low-rent villains. Some low-rent villains would ride the bus. That's I think how
Man.
that goes. Yeah.
Kite man.
Yeah.
No, he flies
Like
everywhere.
Stilt Man.
Those kites are not stable.
That's fair.
And you have to have wind.
Okay, sorry. We were talking about lawful. You were saying that you can have a
Lawful
lawful.
villain?
Yeah. So breaking law is
you
one
were
thing.
asking about
but
is
also
an antagonist a villain, and is are they always the same thing?
Are they-
they're a villain to a hero,
They are.
to like a hero of a story.
Yeah.
I was saying that I feel like
That's all perspective.
it is perspective, and I there are absolutely examples of antagonists that are not villains
Yeah.
to a story, but I would say for the most part in cinema and storytelling, we tend to make our antagonists villains.
Yeah. I mean, well, that brings
I
up.
think
Go.
Probably the more stylized your film is, the closer your antagonist is to like a villain.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's something that's maybe more of a drama, closer to life, you can have like a friendship where one of the friends is the antagonist or something, and then,
Yeah, we have lots of movies where parents are the antagonist. Lots of moms, people have complicated relationships with their parental units.
Yeah.
But they're not like that guy who is super scary in No Country for Old Men. Like that guy is a villain.
Yeah.
He's not like,
Unless you're talking about Matilda, where the parents are truly evil.
Yes,
So
but very clear.
but the difference between a villain and an antagonist is an antagonist doesn't have to be a person. Antagonist can be self, antagonist can be environment. And how do you guys feel about a faceless villain or a faceless antagonist when it is something like person versus environment, like you have in The Perfect Storm or Castaway or like Day After Tomorrow, where it's just an encroaching fucking ice age.
Yeah,
kind
I
of
feel
thing.
anxiety. I think
Ah.
like climate anxiety, like a lot of anxiety when I think about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Well, you feel more helpless too, right?
Yeah.
Because like when it's embodied in a, go ahead.
What's in the box has been redeemed
Oh,
by
damn.
Jim Guinness.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go with have trivia
okay,
questions
while
here.
you're doing that, Natasha, finish your thought
Yeah,
about
anxiety.
anxiety,
Anxiety, I think it
climate,
was?
faceless
I'm
villains.
sorry. Were you-
Anxiety?
Anxiety. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're feeling anxiety.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
I would like to say I think we've established that public transport is inherently good because we can't think of many villains
Is
that
it?
would use it.
That's
There you go.
interesting.
I would debate
like
that with our public transport system here, but
I mean,
Inherently
it's
good.
better than every. Well, that's a whole other
What
thing.
what heroes would take the bus? This is another question.
Most of
Spider-Man.
it-
Most
Seeing
of
as we're
them?
talking about
most of
buses.
the Watchmen.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is another question about
Rorschach.
buses if you want it.
And-
The funny thing is, I could
Harry
name.
Potter.
I feel like I
He
could name
rides
a
the bus.
bunch of heroes that would take the bus. So you're right. Like I could.
Inherently
Yeah,
good.
you're right.
Therefore, we should fund public transport.
so,
Yes, because then it would be better and not awful.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, I agree with that.
what we're going to do for this What's in the Box, and to remind everybody at home, I'm going to ask a trivia question. It's not really a question. I'm going to frame a trivia scenario thing. And the first correct answer in the chat wins. So, I'm going to read a quote. And you need to identify the villain and the movie that the quote is from.
Don't shout it out if you know it on the
Yeah, you guys are not eligible. Not eligible.
Anxiety.
The quote is, "None of us really changes over time. We only become more fully what we are." Oh, it pushed in on me for that one.
It's a good one.
Okay, so first correct answer in le chat will win. That's just... Nope. Anyway,
I would say that
continue talking. I have the
modern
monitor.
day, the distinction between villain and hero, and we are blurring those lines a lot because we're finding that it's more interesting to explore the fact that there's really just a lot of gray zone, and the motivation behind some of these villains is actually pretty understandable sometimes. Maybe their methods aren't great, but
Who's your favorite sympathetic villain like that you experience empathy for and identify with the cause that they bring and the reason that they feel they are so justified in their actions? Do you have a
favorite?
A go-to?
I don't know if I have a go-to. I think there's really clear. I think there's some that are more clear than others.
It's why a lot of people love the beginning of Breaking Bad, and then I never finished it, so I don't know how it ends.
Oh yeah, no, I'd agree with that. That's a great story of the anti-hero, because you love the character and you root for the character until you realize he's totally crazy, and doing some pretty bad stuff for,
Okay,
for his family.
I need some opinions here.
Oh, it's complicated.
Because the first person gave just the character name, and then after an amount of time, both the movie and the character
By somebody else.
by crashes.
But you did say it has to be
I
the
did
movie,
say movie and
the roles were
character.
clearly labeled.
Yeah. Okay. Crashes Ashes. You win. It was Interview with the Vampire, and it was Lestat.
Yeah.
So pick a number. Crashes between 1 through 5. 1 through 5.
Oh my goodness.
1, 2, 3, 4,
There's
5.
mystery boxes.
They're mystery boxes. I'm curious.
Boxes.
Yeah. Well, if
can
you're curious,
unveil.
you can.
What's the box? What's the
damn,
box?
what? Pick a number, Crashes. I want the one that the Gandalf is in.
What? I don't know that.
Just pick a number. You can't even guarantee that Gandalf's in there.
Doing all the Vanna White.
Oh, ooh.
4.
Number 2. Oh, it's
Number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Oh, I know what that is.
Is it socks?
4 is a number of death.
So Crashes to Ashes. I am so sorry, but it is not the Gandalf. And in fact, you may have one of these.
There's 2 things
There's
there.
2 things,
There's 2
though.
things there.
You probably have both. You get an AFL hoodie
And
and an AFL shirt.
yeah.
Welcome.
Just saying.
Congratulations.
You get both of those
Congratulations, Crashes to Ashes.
things. All right.
Also, good quote.
Feels right
Yeah,
back on top.
right?
Right?
It's
It
I
is a
was
good
looking
quote.
through a whole bunch of quotes, and I was like, that's just a really good line.
Yeah.
God damn.
I forgot you were doing a quote, and I thought that was just like, something we
words
should
of wisdom
ponder
from
and be
Trevor.
like, is that true?
It's funny because if you watch this episode back, I have it open and I noticed that there was like a slow push-in on me while I was saying it, and I was like,
Oh.
yeah, it's like words of wisdom. So what were you guys talking
Capri.
about?
I've got more bus-related questions,
Sounds
and
great.
they did redeem Ask Us Almost Anything.
Oh damn.
Can a bus be a villain? And if so, what would the bus's colors be?
Has anybody ever watched Speed?
Oh,
Yes.
But that wasn't the bus, wasn't the
not the
villain.
bus.
There was a guy, but the guy made the bus a villain.
That was what, Dennis Hopper?
Yeah, that bus was a
Oh, man.
villain.
Dennis Hopper, one of the best villain actors
true.
of
I think
all time.
a bus. Didn't he play Koopa? I'm wearing Koopa.
Has anybody here ever watched Magic School Bus? Tell me that's not a villain.
That's not a villain.
I was gonna
Who cares
say
about those kids?
the bus has magic powers, so
Does it or does Miss Frizzle?
Takes them inside the. No one ever
it's pretty
explores
magical.
those kids when they're grown up and they're in therapy from the crap they've seen.
We went inside a body. You were 8. Why are you making up shit?
So there, if that's a good bus, maybe there's a bad bus. I don't know where it would take children.
Sweet
That's
Tooth?
not.
No.
know.
I think in Cars there could be an evil bus.
Yeah.
In the Cars world,
Yeah.
there's been
Sweet
what, 3 of
Tooth's
those
not
movies?
a bus.
I
The
feel like
ice cream truck.
there has to be a haunted bus in some
There's
shitty horror B
like an
movie
actual
somewhere.
bus that's the villain. I bet there is.
Ooh, that movie, The
Freddy
Tire.
Krueger took over a bus in one of the Nightmare on Elm
I
Street.
was going to say Freddy
there's-
Krueger is a great example of an empathetic villain.
Well, and there's not a bus that's a villain
But can
that I
they be
can
a
think
villain?
of, but there is a Mack truck that's a villain. If you watch Spielberg's first film, if you
Oh,
look
yeah.
that up, his very first film, the villain was literally a truck.
Did you see
Okay?
Rubber?
Sorry? It's a
Yeah,
tire.
it's a
Oh,
tire.
yeah, see, that's
Yeah,
what I was
sure.
going to say. Where did that tire come from, you guys? Probably an evil bus.
Yeah.
Also,
Specifically.
on your point, episode of Supernatural, there's an evil truck as well. That
Evil truck? Yeah, trucks are evil a lot. There was Maximum Overdrive. Ooh, is there an evil bus in Maximum Overdrive? Look that up. Can you look that up? Was there an evil
Literally
bus
her job.
in Maximum Overdrive? Maximum
But-
Overdrive, the cars came to life.
don't know.
And
As
the
we
main
dis-
one was a Mack truck with the Green Goblin's face on it for whatever reason. I don't know how they got away with that.
Scary.
But these are all trucks, which are, like, you think about industry.
There's a Happy Toys Green Goblin truck that's the main antagonist. I don't know about a bus. I can't
Yeah, no, the Green Goblin truck was like the main thing.
See, this is the thing. We have discovered that buses are inherently good because they carry many people to destinations they want to go to in a subsidized manner. Whereas
Supposedly
trucks,
there's a bus that's a
bad.
murderer in Vancouver and has a crazy high kill count.
What?
Oh, what?
Can I get that
Like,
number?
did it hit
I'd like
a lot
to know
of
that
people?
Very
number.
specific bus in Vancouver, says the chat.
I'm guessing it's the 99. But there's one
Yeah, that's
bus?
a route.
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
not-
a
it's
bus.
not a
No, I
route,
know,
it's
but I'm
actually
guessing
a
it's an
bus.
accordion bus. Would be my
Chat says
guess.
there's one specific bus
Oh, that's
that has a high kill count.
creepy.
All right. Well, that's kind of terrifying.
That's
But, you know,
amazing. So
They said they'll
yes,
tell you
and
about
it's
it
colored
later.
BC Transit's colors or TransLink.
so we've discovered our new supervillain, and we are going to write an amazing story
Yes.
about the killer
Bus.
The bus who killed.
Out to
Yeah.
get everybody.
Yeah.
He gets busted.
Oh.
What do you guys feel about surprise villains? Like when there's a twist that reveals, like a Kaiser Soze, like the title of this episode, Who is Kaiser Soze? Where you don't know till the very end, and it's
If
like,
it's-
oh, it was this guy.
If it's
Like-
done well, I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah. If it's
Favorite example?
Probably, honestly, Kaiser Soze.
Kaiser Soze.
Yeah,
That's a really
like,
good one.
For me, that was at the age I was when that movie came out. I remember watching it in the theaters with my dad's, and I was just sitting there. My dad. I don't have dads. My dad, and I was just sitting there.
Explain the concept.
Some people have dads. It's
Some people
fine.
do. I don't.
I had two.
Yeah. Yes, I only have the one.
One was a step.
I just know that he watches all of these when I'm on them, and I would be sitting there saying dads, and he's like, "Who's your other dad?" I'd be like, "No, I only have the one." No, but that movie was impactful, really impactful. That was a big
Yeah?
thing for me. Yeah, when I came, that one I felt was done very well. So for me, that would be my greatest example of the sort of the twist on who. Although you knew Kaiser Soze was the villain, you just didn't know who Kaiser Soze was.
That's true. That's true. Still a reveal.
The one that I was thinking was actually the one you were talking about earlier, Korean TV series called Oh My Ghost. There's multiple languages of this. Oh My Ghost.
Oh my ghost.
It's called Oh My Ghost.
That's great.
It's great. And because I don't know the genre like things as well in Korean cinema, it was very surprising because I was shipping so hard for like the ghost character to get together with this like police guy, and he was so sweet, and he like kept visiting her and blah 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 and her family and bringing them snacks. And it turns out, spoiler alert, he was visiting because it was like his victim's family, and he was like super creepy.
Whoa, that's heavy.
And it was very, very dark, and I totally did not see it coming. I was like, oh my god, they'd be so cute together. Why is she a ghost? It's so sad. And it's like, oh, he killed her. But you only find out like halfway through the season. It's very good. Very good.
What's
I've
up,
got two
Capri?
things. One person heard from the Vancouver bus mechanic himself. The bus number is 9666, so don't get on that
No
bus.
way.
And also, Roz, Andrew would like to hear your best maniacal laugh.
Maniacal laugh. So we picked maniacal. So I feel like, because you were debating what kind of thing to go with, right?
No, I called it maniacal laugh, but it's just evil laugh.
Follow your heart, Roz.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
Which really feels like it goes against the whole idea. But, yeah.
That was really good. That was really good.
Thank you.
It started off where I thought you were actually just laughing at something
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
said,
it went that way.
which maybe that was what happened.
That
It's
was
more
a-
how you broke out of it
Yeah.
that got
It's
me.
a good build.
Yeah.
It's a very good build.
Thank you.
That was a great example of someone you don't expect to be a villain, and then they turn into a
I
villain.
was, yeah. No, I would
go.
suspect Roz for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've played D&D with Roz.
Do you have a favorite surprise
I
twist
don't like
villain?
twists and surprises very much.
Oh, surprising for someone who wants mandatory fun
Yeah.
Shocking, I
and
know.
who secretly wants to be a dictator, as we've learned on a previous episode.
It's not so secret.
Learning a lot
You
about
learned it,
Roz.
so yeah, I'd just be really good at controlling everybody. I feel like who would I think is the best example of someone who surprises you? I think I like the twists where I know that someone is bad or is like going to do something extreme, but then you get surprised about someone else's reaction to it, and it is over the top and bad. And an example that I have right now that sticks out is I just watched Inside Number 9 is a British show,
Okay.
and it's anthology. And in the first episode, there's a bunch of people playing the game Sardines, and they're running around a house, and they all slowly end up more and more of them crammed inside the same closet. It's like hide and go seek, but when someone finds you, then you all stay together until the next person finds you, and then you all stay together.
Interesting.
Yeah, really fun, not COVID friendly.
No.
And a bunch of them end up in the same house, in the same cabinet, hiding in this room, waiting for other people to find them. And you're hearing more and more about other family members and other people who are running around the party. And as they eventually join, a bunch of relationship stuff gets brought out, and it's really ugly and complicated. And then it starts to go down this dark rabbit hole where kids probably were abused in this house when they were small. And then one of the characters goes missing. And then at the end, you realize that the villain of it is really the dad, who is the abuser, and he's trapped in the cabinet with all of them.
Oh.
And the kid who went missing has now grown up and was one of the people in the cabinet at the beginning, and then he's locking the cabinet door, and they're all trapped inside, and he's just spraying lighter fluid all over it.
Ooh.
And you're
The
just
fuck
like,
is this?
I did not expect this to happen, and so it just got darker and darker the whole time. And you want to side with people to do bad things to bad people, but then when they cross that line of like, okay, but not light them all on fire, like this, now that's too much.
Why not? There's a lot of humans in this world. We can lose a few in a closet. It's
I
fine.
like
Yeah, but they're
I
not
like
all
those kind of
bad
things.
necessarily. I don't know the movie,
I
but
want to be like, I'm on the bad guy's side. I want to be on the bad guy's side, and then I want to like get too far, and then I get to decide where my line is.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? I love horror movies where you're just like revenge plots. Get back
Wow.
at them, and you're like, well, but their intestines are everywhere now. Ooh,
Yeah, I mean,
too far.
messy.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about
but,
like Mr. Glass in Unbreakable? That was one of the that one.
Okay,
got
so
me.
this is interesting because he's a clear villain, labeled as such, and labels himself as such.
Yeah.
I'm the villain of the story.
Yeah.
But you also sympathize with him.
Usually.
You understand that he's been looking, like, who isn't looking for their purpose, their lot in life, the thing that they're meant to do? Who doesn't want to know that? And for
Yeah.
him, that was his. So he's crazy, and he killed a lot of people.
A lot
But
of
I can also somewhat sympathize, and that's the thing with that.
Didn't you feel
the
that way
modern
about Thanos too?
Oh man,
I was just about to say
yeah,
that.
No,
Like
I
with-
totally sympathize with
Like
Thanos.
Thanos killed a
was great.
lot of people.
Yeah.
But,
But he didn't do it gruesomely. Mr. Glass did it by like orchestrating
no.
huge
Thanos did
accidents
it
and
gruesomely
shit.
before he didn't do it gruesomely.
Yes.
He went planet to planet and killed a lot of people.
In the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then eventually he just snapped them out of existence.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Which is actually a mercy.
it is.
Yeah.
But again, the idea behind it, I can sort of get behind. I can understand.
Yeah. His
the
motivation
thought
was
process.
identifiable, completely identifiable.
Yeah. I think a lot of people left that movie going,
When you were talking about like your age at the time with Usual Suspects, I think the one that was like that I had the biggest reaction to was actually Christopher Lloyd as Judge Doom in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. When he ripped his freaking face off and eyeballs out and turned into a toon, I didn't see that shit coming. Nope.
nope, that's
Spoiler
fair.
alert.
That's a good laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Ooh, baby.
Sorry, sound.
Sorry, everyone. They're earballs. What do you feel about
He sounded
villains
so nuts.
who are? Is there a part where it could be not fun that they are the bad guy? I feel like in the Frankenstein's monster,
I think-
that story arc is just you're scared and you want to be scared, but then you find out so much more about this character that it reverses of who is really the villain of the story, and then it loses
It's
maybe the
humans.
fun. Yeah. But
Well,
it still makes you think a lot.
See, I think there's a difference
Is that
between
still good?
monsters and villains, though.
Well, but it's also the idea of the villain you love to hate. Like that idea about that character that pisses you off episode after episode in something or
Cut.
anything like that because they just keep ruining everything always, and you're like,
Cigarette
why are you
smoking
just?
man.
Ugh. And yet, but you love to hate them, which to me is a testament to the actor, for one, and two
The writing.
is in the writing and the fact that I'm getting so emotional. I have to admit that means it's really well
They're
done.
doing their job.
Yeah.
There's a few of those, and I feel bad for some of the actors when it comes to like actual performances because not everyone can separate art from reality.
Actors are actors.
Yeah.
Okay, they're actors.
Don't beat up on little kids who played
Yeah.
Draco Malfoy because
Or Joffrey.
Or
in Game
Joffrey,
of
who got it
Thrones.
real bad.
Yeah, he got death threats and
Yeah.
shit just for his performance. Len, you just keep doing this. For those at home, Len's just beside the camera. And every time I want to talk to the audience, it's just him going.
What's up, Capri?
And Alex is redeemed to ask us almost anything, asking what's the difference between a villain and an anti-hero in your opinion?
Punisher.
question.
What?
Punisher versus
Punisher's a
Dr. Doom.
real gray line, though.
Punisher's an anti-hero in as much as you understand why he's doing what he's doing, you don't agree with the methods. Versus a villain who's just kind of an outright bad
But did you say
person.
Doctor Doom, though?
Yeah, Dr.
He's
Doom's
not that
is an
bad.
insane dictator who wants to...
Well, no, but he cares
I'm
more
getting up,
about
so I'm getting
his.
more drink.
Dr. Doom's an interesting
I'm still
representation of politics and just the
just a cider.
over. What's the word? Alienation of the other, like of vilifying the other, taking a country that you don't understand. Like he cares more about his people than the rest of the world.
And I
And,
think-
and he's almost to a
But
Latverian.
that's not
Dr.
true,
Doom is
though.
a
He
freaking
doesn't
anti-hero.
really care about his people. He wants to control his people.
Sometimes you need to. I was just gonna say
All right, well, we're learning a lot here. But
Matt and I like to do when we write characters sometimes, and it's an oversimplification of them. But when you're starting out,
Yeah.
if a villain is a character who does the wrong thing, do they do the wrong thing for the right reason, or do they do the wrong thing for a wrong reason? So if they're doing it for greed or because they like to cause pain, but are they doing it because they think they have this is the right reason to do something that's wrong?
I think that where you.
yeah, thank you.
It's a beer emergency.
I think that to answer the question, what makes the difference between an anti-hero and a villain, I think that it is crossing an established moral line, like doing stuff that more universally we consider something evil makes you a villain, whereas there is a lacking of morals for anti-heroes, but they are in their at the core doing their end goal is what we all consider to be good or right or
So
righteous.
the answer to the question is actually you, as an audience member. You decide.
Dictate who's a villain and who's an anti-hero?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
I think yes, but also I think it's the way it's shown to be because the film or medium takes you on a ride and tells you who you should be rooting for and who you shouldn't be rooting for in, a variety of ways. But they're telling you hey, this guy is, we're sympathizing with this person and we want them to succeed and this person we don't. And I think a lot of the characters and perspectives, you just tweak it a little bit and you could see one person as an anti-hero or a villain and you can kind of swap that around quite a bit. And I just think, humanity in general, there's a lot of things that we thought were morally bad and then that can be shifted even within one person's lifetime. I think your idea of what is morally good, bad, gray zone can change.
I think you're right. I think the anti-hero is the realistic hero. That's the issue. Is the anti-hero is really how that. I remember when I first saw Kick-Ass, and he just kills everybody. I mean, he's the hero, but he kills everybody. But he's the hero.
Yeah.
And the reality is, that's kind of how that would have to go down. It's lovely to sit here and think as a Superman doesn't kill and he's going to put everybody in jail, and they keep breaking out and put them back in jail and they break out and they're going to kill a lot of people, but he's going to keep putting them back in jail.
That's just to sell more comics.
It is.
Yeah.
The realistic aspect of that is the anti-hero is more the real hero, because it is our moral limits that are tested in what we consider to be a hero at that point versus not a hero. So it does come down to motive, I think. You know?
Yeah.
Is my motive altruistic? I'm killing a bunch of people, but I'm doing it to save this group of people? Or is it that I'm just trying to rule a bunch of people?
So the end justifies the means.
A little bit.
And
You heard it here first.
It's kind of
and
true.
I just said that
your
same
maniacal
thing.
laugh.
My maniacal
Yes.
laugh? Oh, God.
I just feel like you're on the spot a little.
I'm too good as a person. I don't have a maniacal. No. But we're all good.
Yeah. Terrifying,
Wow.
as it should be.
Good luck
Yeah.
sleeping tonight.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I think I burst a couple blood vessels doing that.
Your
actually.
face were very red.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk more. Go.
I just wanted to tack one more thing on.
Yes.
Like, if we think about what things outline a classic hero, you see in a lot of like animated films and stuff, there's a lot of things that you like tropes that you see a lot. So I think you see them wearing certain colors. You see a lot of wearing purple, like for male heroes as well as female heroes. Villains. Am I revealing myself? And effeminate behaviors or behaviors that go outside of like their, typical gender or whatever. And you see like vanity or greed being one of their, and selfishness. I think those are the things that you see a lot of in those stereotypical hero or
Yeah, that's
see, there
our
you go again,
hero
villain.
But our Western
villain
coding
archetypes.
to kids when we were younger,
Yeah.
especially, is these things tell you they're bad guys.
As a
Yeah.
product of its time too. Like,
Yeah.
if you whenever you're looking at any given time, if you look at the sort of social opinion at that time,
Yeah.
and it's very in there, like in kids' entertainment especially.
Yeah, but I think it's telling you like this is outside of the box of the norm. This is
Yeah.
what you should be.
Yeah.
And
Be a
this
square.
is outside of it, and therefore, like, this is something that stands out, and it's in opposition to what is inside this box.
Yep.
So you're not like a square-jawed, like, white guy who falls in love and heroes the girl or mermaid or whatever it is. You, like you said, have like an extravagant mustache. You are a bit effeminate. You wear purple and all these kind of things. And like maybe you have an affectation to your voice. Well, that's not conforming to a lot of the stereotypical kind of macho things or whatever it is. And I think you see similar things in like female villains as well sometimes. Like, what was it?
Wait, what do you mean by in female villains? Like,
I'm thinking about whatchamacallit. Well, there's Ursula as
Yeah.
well, who is based on Divine, I think a drag queen.
was she?
Apparently.
I did not
Oh,
know
okay.
that.
Purple and like deep voice and like singing all these kind of things. And then I might be remembering wrong, but I do believe what's the one with the llama?
The Emperor's New Groove.
Yzma?
Emperor's New Groove.
Yzma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also like also purple and like kind of anyway. Purple's definitely a color that
It's
comes up
one
a
of the
lot.
colors on our lighting. Casey asked me
Yeah.
what colors.
And I
I said
think
red and
Maleficent
purple.
The Joker,
is also
purple.
purple.
Purple and green.
Maleficent,
Purple and
purple.
green get used a lot. Red, greens, purples.
Wow.
Is Jafar
Green,
also purple?
envy,
Does he have
red,
purple
rage.
ears?
I think so,
Purple
yeah.
is actually old empirical stuff.
Yeah.
Empirical, but also a color, like a queer color, purple being.
I never thought of it that way. I thought of it
It-
more historically, but I.
When did that
It
become a
is.
queer color though? Because like
I'm not
historically,
sure.
it is more associated with
royalty.
royalty than anything. Because purple was hard to get as a dye. You had to refine.
But these were not
Lambs?
made at that time. These
Yeah.
were made in the 80s and
Sure.
the 90s when that was a big
Yeah,
topic
no,
of
But
conversation.
I always thought it was
purple
the
has a
leftover.
very long-standing royal tie. Like that's why it's it does
But
it,
people
more than
online,
anything.
You can check it out, right? Find out.
Fact
Find out.
checker.
Fact check.
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I was just curious.
When were
was
these things? Because
purple-
that'll help. Like,
Was the
When did purple become associated with like queer movements?
yeah, really interesting.
Yeah.
And
Oh, thank you.
I was going to
Thank
say
you.
one of my favorite,
Yeah, wow.
slightly more modern characters that's a female villain, Dr. Girlfriend.
It's got a deep voice.
She
like
does
this.
have that really deep
Yeah,
voice. And now she's Dr. Mrs. the Monarch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got married, but it's really a bit of, I think, a play on those traditional things that you would have seen as stereotypes. And we used the word trope earlier, but I think that really applies to a lot of these sorts of categories. And, because she is a character that's going to take all of those shorthands that we learned, roll them into something, and then they try to do different things with it.
Do you think that, because like I'm saying, product of the time, right? Like when you look at coding in children's entertainment to like sort of exclude the other, if you
And
look
villainize
at any
the
of
other.
and villainize the other, like you look at like Scar, who was very effeminate in his like the way he moved and the way he spoke and everything, and then you look at modern society and what we consider okay and like what like things that used to be pushed to the outside are now it's like no, you need to fucking check your prejudice. Do you think that is what's leading to the simultaneous evolution of sympathetic villains like Thanos and Killmonger, where you can identify with where instead of taking something that is a societal outcast, you're taking something that is a societal issue and putting it into a villain and sort of making that the thing that they're about?
I mean, I think you do see, like, as people become, I think they both inform each other. So I think as people become a little bit more aware of, like, political issues and our own bias and things like that, we start to understand the complexity, and it's reflected in our media. And then that also, like, stories are how we learn about our society, and it really informs what we think of as good and bad. And so I think then that kind of, has a bit of a circular effect. But like things like, we don't think it's colonialism. We're starting to realize that, that was problematic. But, Pocahontas, I think 1995 maybe or something like that. I think you would see it made in a different way.
Sorry, I just like it being called problematic.
Problematic, yeah.
Just like,
It's not
sure. That's a very polite way to put that. Yes, absolutely.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is a couple years ago, it was just part of the story. This guy's a good guy. And like, it was just this one guy that was bad in Pocahontas, but they completely changed the historical story. It was based on to be more palatable to the entire audience, right? And so I think you see that now shifting where we're hopefully becoming a little bit more critical of ourselves and our history. And then I think that is informing the way we make media, I would hope. But there's also things like, I don't know, even Moana, which I love, like shiny purple crab, effeminate, evil character. He's like one of the only bad guys.
Oh.
And
It keeps going. It's still
on the
there.
purple, it became associated with queerness in 1969 during the Stonewall riots, when people were wearing lavender sashes and armbands, and it also is tied into the villainy to do with like power and all that kind of nobility.
So for the last
condition.
50 years, purple has been associated with it, but like,
Interesting.
yeah, but
actually didn't
purple
know
as
that.
a color has like way deeper roots with royalty.
But you could
Yeah.
use it for you could use it for some more things, but then you
Oh,
could
for sure.
use it to code things. And a lot of the things that we do are, because things are systemic, we don't even know we're doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are still
Oh, no,
part of
100%.
it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I really like villains who are super sad when you find out what their backstory is like. And I'm always talking about the Ice King, and I just love this
Yeah,
character.
which I've
I
I've seen
know,
like
yeah, so we
2
can't talk about it
episodes
too
of
much, but,
Adventure
like,
Time. Go ahead.
I love Adventure
Talk
Time.
all you
and
want.
it's
People
a
like
show
that show too.
was, really appeals to kids and adults, which is interesting. I think a lot of our children's programming that's gotten more complicated now is watched by, you can watch it with your kids. Steven Universe is a really good example too. And you can watch that with your kids and actually enjoy it versus, kids content that we might have watched where our parents were not in the room because they were like, I can't now.
There was always certain ones that my parents liked, but yeah,
Oh, yeah? Well, I mean, if it's gotten a little more complicated, then I think it
Yeah.
appeals to,
a wider audience.
yeah, exactly. And, the Ice King is such a sad character at the roots, but it starts out as like this guy who kidnaps princesses because he's kind of lonely and wants to read them as fan fiction. And then it, turns out that the crown he put on gives him magic powers and made him forget who he really was. And so now he's this like really kind of tragic character.
Ooh, actually, for some reason that reminds me of Tangled, which I thought had a really good kind of antagonist character, like the mother who she just wants a kid, and so she kidnaps, kind of blackmails someone to give them her kid, and then locks her in a tower. But they have this really like realistic mother-daughter kind of tension between.
But she wants to be young forever, so it really is wrong thing at its root, wrong reason.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought the way that they made the film,
they are companions.
Yeah, you get the sense that she like does love her in her own way. I don't know.
I mean, I'll say this.
I thought it was good.
I love that movie.
I'm currently sitting down and rewatching Dragon Ball Z, to which has.
Why?
I don't know. I just felt like
That's
it. But
hard.
It is. It's a lot.
Like there's whole
But-
episodes of just.
Oh no, you're right.
Like,
It's a lot.
yeah.
But there's very clear laid out. This is a villain. This is a hero. Very clear lines. I think I prefer the modern villain. I prefer something that makes me think. I prefer something where I ask questions at the end of it because of why. Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Yeah.
The villain in that is very understandable. This is somebody you look at and go, currently in our modern society, I understand how this person got there. I get how that person
they're
feels.
victims of circumstance.
They are. And
Yeah.
so it's not clearly laid out. And I think
think
that is far more
A
fascinating.
good example of that is that we had the Wicked Witch of the West, green and purple,
Yeah.
and then in the old movie, Wicked Witch,
Yep.
and then we ended up with a Broadway show and a book that is all
Elphaba.
about
Hell yeah.
And the story of
her and why she
and
is
how she became that.
Yeah.
not a villain to herself, but
So-
also how she did. Yeah.
Something that has come to my mind recently was when I went and watched Suicide Squad. Is that I worry that as we are learning to sympathize with villains, that people aren't aware of the responsibility in not just making the character sympathetic, that like people are like, oh, I see their side of things, but that you go too far with it and you could really be sending the wrong message. Like,
so?
well, I'm worried that, because like as soon as we saw even the first appearance of Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, there was like freaking girls everywhere wearing Daddy's Little Monster shirts and dressing up like Harley and all that kind of stuff. So suddenly a minor character who started as a sidekick to a villain has now become an icon. And because she's in an abusive relationship, there's all this emancipation of Harley Quinn stuff, and she's still a fucking psycho. Like, she's a fucking psycho. She kills people. She's nuts.
Doesn't G.I. Joe too, though?
Yeah.
G.I. Joe? No.
I mean, they
Does he
do
not
kill
kill
a
people?
lot of people.
Why- First of all, you're referring to G.I. Joe as he.
Sorry.
like as if it's a guy.
I mean, there was a Joe. but
there originally was
there was a Joe.
the guy,
Yeah.
but G.I. Joe's a team of elite. I'm making a point
Okay,
here.
no, but here's the opposite.
No, I'm making a
thing.
point here. Is
Okay.
that just because you were a victim of some sort of other evil doesn't justify evil actions of your own. Like there's and through multiple movies, even in the newest Suicide Squad, there's like it seems that Harley's just allowed to have free reign of like, I had an abusive man in my life and now I can murder as much as I want and nobody should care. Everyone should cheer me on. And
Okay.
that's a bad
Hold
fucking
on a
message.
second. There's another side to that, and this is an important other side
Sure.
because we have taken upon ourselves to say heroes can do no wrong. And so G.I. Joe being a good example of this, or many other things, where because something or somebody is labeled as a villain, or a villain and their henchmen, we can kill all of them indiscriminately because it doesn't matter, and I'm right, you're wrong, and I can just kill as much as I want. And I think the blending of that, going into the gray zone, looking at the fact that heroes and what drives them more than just them being a villain or a hero is so important, because all of a sudden we're acknowledging the fact that, somebody who got totally fucked up by the Joker and isn't actually just totally, she's broken as a human being.
Yeah.
She needs help, but she's not inherently evil either. And in fact, if you look at the newest animated series, she's not really a villain. I would paint her more as the anti-hero.
I think she's still a villain in that show.
I would say she's an
Still a villain.
anti-hero
We're
because
on
they still
board
do
'cause it's
right
entertaining
things. Same
to
with Suicide
cheer.
Squad. They do forcefully the right thing. My point is more that heroes do bad all the time because we label them as heroes and it's okay, versus
Wait,
villains who do, well, heroes can kill and it's okay because they're a hero. But a villain kills and it's monstrous because they're a villain.
I mean, that depends.
And
That sometimes that's the case. and
That's
a lot of the
Thanos
time
down to a
not.
T right there. That was that issue that we faced when we watched that movie and we all sat back and went, oh, I kind of agree with the guy. You know, is that we have created these labels that as long as you're a hero, it's okay to kill. You can kill as much as you want. And we're actually starting to explore that in some new series. I mean, you that I find really interesting.
Do you watch The Boys?
Yeah, right? Where all of a sudden those heroes are not heroes.
No,
but they're labeled
fucking
heroes
terrible.
so they can do whatever they want.
But that's where the villain is actually like corporate America.
Yeah.
Or like corporations in general,
You know.
regardless
But I
of
mean-
America.
I totally agree with you because I think it's very important to see these new films where you know see, oh, maybe this villain in this one is portrayed in a positive light or whatever, because otherwise we're just taking everything at face value under a label. Because look at
Sure.
like James Bond, for example. Sure, like he's a spy and he works for the people we support, and he goes and beats people up and kills them all. But I'm sure if you went into the backstory of one of those henchmen, like, I don't know, I was just trying to get a job. I work for this guy. I don't really know what I do, and I'm just standing
proposed
here.
to my girlfriend.
I'm just standing here by this door. Someone told me to guard it, and now all of a sudden, like, I'm lying on the floor and I have chronic back issues now. And who's gonna pay for that? I don't know.
Well, he had a
But
license.
Somebody went
Bond
and-
literally has a license to kill. So you're probably
Yeah.
not gonna have back issues.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have any more issues because
I
you're
mean,
fucking dead.
Yeah, he kills people.
But-
He also injures them indiscriminately, and like.
well, and we
know.
use the hero in modern day society as an example to teach people that as long as the government says it's okay or somebody says it's okay, then you can do whatever you want. So it's the problem with it is that the United States is a great example of this or other thing, but they'll look at something and say, we can go into a country and kill all of these people because we're the good guys. We know what we're doing. We're the good guys.
Because they
But
had
they're
to
not
code
the good
messages
guys.
to kids for a really long time,
Yeah.
so that they
And
could
that's
use that.
The other side of it to me.
Yeah.
And so it's just important that we recognize that. And I think the funniest thing about the villain is a lot of the times they're created by their environment, they're created by the hero, they're created
Victims
by
of
they
circumstance.
don't exist without there being this really one-sided.
But sometimes they do, and sometimes they are like the reflections of actual societal evils. Like sometimes there are people who get driven to awful means, and they have to do those things to survive. And then there's fucking psychopathic serial killers who just murder people because they find it fun. They want to see what their insides look like.
That's
And those people
scary.
also exist.
Who can quote that movie?
That was a Trevor
Yeah,
original.
yeah.
We have unfortunately run out of time. I wanted to keep going. There's
Yeah.
other stuff I wanted to keep talking about, but
We're getting into the good stuff now.
I know. Okay, next week, as of today, on A Funny Lot on YouTube, we have our improv challenge videos have gone up, the first 3 of those. So check that out. Next week, we've got E-casting on Monday. We've got Shadows of Blood episode 8 on Tuesday, and potentially LFG, our new PC gaming show, our full episode 1 on Wednesday. We'll see. It might be postponed a week. We'll find out that regarding technical stuff. Otherwise, stay tuned for the raid. We will throw the raid message into the chat. And sub raid, Capri, if you could throw that in there. I don't know who we're gonna raid. Let's see.
We're gonna rate someone good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yep,
I'll
yep.
find somebody. So stay tuned for the raid. Remember to spam the chat. Until next time, stay filthy.